So sometimes, we regurgitate stuff. That's what we do. We're like a cat. You know, we, we get a hairball. So we've been talking about the fact that shadow banning, canceling, was created to stop Poleshift Alert back in April of 2020 when we launched 2 weeks before the pandemic started. And we told everybody, you're going to be locked down. Martial law is getting ready to hit. Like 3 people out of millions called me an idiot. Everybody else knew something was off, something was coming. And sure enough, I was right. Now, I've been right about virtually everything. And Poleshift Alert had 1 million views after our first 3 months every 30 days. And now we have proof that we're getting 1.8 million views per week, 8 million views per month. So we accumulated about 700 million views and had about 30 videos up that had 28 million views, which is like 1 billion views right there. Now, this is just on X alone. This isn't on other platforms. This is, the analytics of X and TikTok, some of these websites. And then you'll go and you'll look on my profile page and it says 300 views. And some chick contacted me and said, we did that. We crashed all your numbers because we had to, because your website's so huge, we would owe you massive amounts of cash. They don't want this information out. So they're going to ruin me, and probably worse. Of course, I'd never harm myself. You have to say that at the start of every video now. It's ridiculous. And for entertainment purposes only, this and that and the other thing. So we're trying to navigate our way around. And, we told them a long time ago, Poleshift Alert is for sale, that we're willing to get rid of it. We're willing to give it to somebody else. I always thought somebody like Neil deGrasse Tyson should be sitting in this chair. But I have a lot of information, and I am a researcher, whether people like the fact that I'm peer-reviewed or not. I try to put out my own thing. I'm not trying to do your thing. I'm not trying to do their thing. I'm not trying to be a peer-reviewed scientist. Maybe some of the stuff I say is outlandish and completely off course. Everybody has those things in their research. I don't care whether they're Copernicus or who they are. When you're researching stuff, you can be right, you can be wrong, you can be. The bottom line is if you don't like it, you can go there, you can go there. There's many different outlets of checking things out. My version of Poleshift Alert is my radio show that I had on 2 radio stations visualized in VJ form. And I throw comedy in there, I throw other stuff in there. And I'm just trying to be myself while telling people I believe that we're having a pole shift. As a result of this war that I've had, and had my store ruined, had my big TikTok page taken, had to leave X, never got paid, nothing, been in a war with these people for years over them ruining my opportunities and keeping my money, I've decided I'm not going to bother them about it anymore, but it's what I am going to do is I'm going to block all the elites. So you can't see the page. You'll have to go see it on Spotify or somewhere else. Because there has to be some consequence to ruining a guy and taking his money. And if the only consequence I can have is to block a bunch of people that don't even have nothing to do with it, to prove a point to you that I'm not going to put up with being taken advantage of, disrespected, or bullied, just like you didn't want to be when you were a little boy, sir. We all deserve a shot. Meritocracy proves my website deserved to be paid. You just don't want to because you don't like me and cooler than you are. We heard a lot of yapping about Egypt, and now we're starting to see pyramids all over the world and stuff, but the Sphinx was built 46,459 BC to let enemies know we will not be intimidated. I believe that this was the first imagery of it when the pyramids were white with gold caps. Everybody in Egypt had power. They had the different kind of power where you had to have both feet down on the ground and you could hold a bulb and it would light up. But the Sphinx was built 46,459 BC, and somebody said a 33rd degree Mason that we're in 1225 right now. They added 800 years. So things been around a while, yo. I guess under like 3 oceans from 3 different pole shifts. All right. If you want to understand how to fix a problem in the world, you have to ask who is profiting from the problem, not who is suffering from it. Oh, look at that, would you? So who's profiting from the problem and who's benefiting it from it? These are the people I'm blocking, not these people. I'm going to block these people, not block these people, because of you not paying me. I don't really get too involved in religious stuff of any kind. Not that I'm not religious. I have a church in my heart. That's my business. It's none of yours. Nothing in your bedroom's my business. Nothing in your church is my business. Nothing about your church is my business. Nothing about your country's my business. My business is my business and your business is your business. But supposedly, this is where Jesus was born. I just thought it was interesting because that is your business. So Noah released a map of all the world's oceans, and it looks pretty extraordinary, right? It does. But in comparison to how much water there actually is on Earth, you can expect there's going to be regional flooding. You can expect water to be coming up out from the ground beneath your feet. There may be no flood. It might just come up right out of the ground. Now, as this binary star, with its high amount of massive UV that's causing all these rivers to run red because of its high ultraviolet rays and nothing else, doesn't have anything to do with rust or iron. It has to do with this planet's iron ore that it's kicking off and dropping into our atmosphere. It also contributes to this red stuff, but there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's all lies they're telling you. They were telling people that the square waves on Lake Michigan are because of wind going 2 directions. Everybody knows that when you take a plate and you put sand on there and you can vibrate it in different directions, everyone knows that Lake Michigan used to be a North Pole, and these vibrations are proving that these vibrations are coming from below the surface of the water, not above. Not from wind. But anyway, the last time the pole shift occurred, the North Pole ice cap was ripped off. It was. And then it landed in the ocean and caused a 3-mile high wave. And like wiped a bunch of people out. But then all of the condensation went in the atmosphere, and then it rained for guess how many days and nights? 40? 40. But it rained in Scotland for 10 years straight, making it uninhabitable. A mysterious force is blocking cosmic rays from entering Milky Way's center. Yes, and that is the planet Nibiru system. According to some, it has shifted the vibration inside of every black hole in the known universe because of its simply sheer mass and magnetism. And somehow this alignment that it's going through right now in this weird time is causing seriously symptoms throughout multiple galaxies. So is the 250th anniversary of the United States going to be the pole shift? They say that countries last exactly 250 years. And next year, 1776 to 2026. Is it the year? Might be. This isn't caused by the wind. Stop listening to liars and propaganda. Pole shift alert.